This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
105.5, not
105.5. Correct.
Sound of Mobile.
You can just read it right there.
Right there, I'm reading it. Michael Brauner, 105.5, the Sound of Mobile app. You hear him in the mornings. Is my green light on? Good. Is your green light on? Great. All right, just making sure. Sometimes, the chaos of SEC Media Days, as we're here on the Joe Gaither Show, doing a little stand-up. We're going to go an hour right here, standing up. Michael's knees are going to get rough at the end, so will mine.
Lunch ends and
Oh yeah, when does lunch end? We got to go.
Probably 1:30,
All right,
like that.
We definitely have to go get lunch. Man, Michael, what a day! Alabama Day. Kalen DeBoer gave just a little bit, a little bit more than normal. How are you feeling about Alabama after seeing the coach up there and all the players go through the car wash?
Kalen DeBoer, since the day he was hired, does not give. I mean, we complained for 17 years that Saban doesn't give anything away, but Saban, even at least in the last, especially in the last 5 to 7 years, I feel like we hung on every word he said. You never know if he was going to chew somebody out or if he was going to make a funny joke at the podium. And DeBoer, maybe it comes with 17 years of winning 6 national championships or 7 total, but DeBoer is right down the middle, and you know what you're going to get with him, which, from our perspective is not always the best thing, but it's definitely what you want in a coach.
Well, it's very good. I mean, if you're replacing the GOAT,
yes,
you may as well keep it very simple, very dry, all kinds of coach speak.
I'd say he's 2 for 2 on media days at this point.
Yeah.
Right? There's no big headline about how he messed up or how he said something weird.
He didn't talk all kinds of trash about Florida State.
No, but I would have liked that. Coaches don't. I mean, since Spurrier, I guess coaches just don't even Kiffin. We made the point earlier this week. Kiffin, for as funny as he is on Twitter, and the dry sense of humor, and even when the freeze golf thing came, it sounds like he's doing awesome at that. So great for. He's still very awkward at the podium. He's not standing there going after people.
You think you could take Hugh Freeze on the golf course?
No, he's like a 7 handicap, so he's playing a lot. It's good for him. It's awesome. No, in all seriousness, it's funny because during the Regions Pro-Am, we'd break down, okay, which coach has the best swing. I have Sankey on tomorrow. The swing is not good. The swing's not good, but
Don't copy it, but it works for him.
There's more than one way to skin a cat on the golf course, and sometimes you got to just swing your swing. And as for Freeze, he's like a 7 handicap. He breaks 80 pretty regularly. I would trade golf games with him in a heartbeat. But the best swing, I can't wait to ask him tomorrow. I've seen is Greg Sankey. He's got a smooth. He's like the Vitruvian man of golf. So I'm excited to ask him about that tomorrow. We'll see if he gives any sort of. It's tough to get if it's tough to get anything about the board. It's even tougher to get anything out of Sankey.
He's a master politician.
Yeah, I mean, and he's also given the same answer 2,500.
Well, that's why you're asking him about golf and not football.
Exactly. That's why I got to start with the golf, soften him up, and then. Maybe he'll reveal the SEC's grand plan for world domination.
Oh, he sort of did on Monday. It was basically bend the knee, the memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
We're going to basically control this sport. Big 12, ACC, we'll have your rights. We'll control your sport. Monday's 45 minutes was basically a propaganda spiel, just entirely. Yeah. We're so great. We don't need to play 9 games. Our teams are playing 10 Power 4 games. We don't need to bump it up. And then he's followed up by Shane Beamer saying, well, we already played 9, and if we play with Clemson, if everybody plays 9, we'll be at 10. We don't want to have those 3 what-do-you-call-them games. Shane Beamer really taking the soft route, in my opinion. We got to go to 9, Michael.
Well, for Shane Beamer, the best thing might just be to put Clemson in the SEC. It's probably going to happen. What if we're talking here a decade from now? I think you'll see Dabo or whoever the coach is here at that point. By the way, it's didn't mean to go off on such a side tangent, but Dabo has found a way to become likable. I know ACC media days are going on this week. You see, I'll talk to you about it when we're done here. But confuse the country singer Brian Kelly with the coach Brian Kelly. You got to see the
There's
play.
a country singer, Brian Kelly?
I think he's the lead singer of Florida Georgia Line.
Okay.
So I found that out yesterday too. So I'm not an expert in that field, but no. As for all of that, saying
9 games.
I'm for 9 games, but I also can very much see the side of, why would you add the extra game when?
For me and for you.
I agree.
And for you.
For the fan, I agree, but the fan is not going to be happy if there's 6 3-loss teams and they don't weigh it equally, and then the SEC. What happens last year happens every year because you're going to take loss. I think the SEC right now is as good top to bottom as it's ever been. I don't think there's that dominant, Georgia, Alabama team, but the SEC top to bottom it's just hard. It's harder to win on a week-to-week basis right now than I think it's ever been. And if you're the SEC and you haven't seen it either in writing or in practice that with the expanded playoff, they're going to weigh that equally, why would you add an extra game? And frankly, why I hate saying this because I'm a college football fan first and foremost, but why would you play these hard non-conference games? Why wouldn't you make it as easy on yourself as possible? Indiana, credit to them. Like
they don't have a power. They don't have a non-conference Power 4 game for like 10 years.
I know, and Frank, what incentive is there right now for them to schedule them? There just is. Like, I'll be surprised.
Here's the incentive: not being the 12 seed and getting drummed by an SEC team that did.
They were going to get drummed regardless. So it is what it is at that point. I mean, if you're Indiana now, you can sell their hurts. Hey, we got into the play. I mean, this whole thing has been. That we're sold the sham of, it's going to give more teams a shot. No, it's not going to give more teams a shot. It's giving less teams a shot. Look at the Cincinnatis of the world making the playoff in 2021. Did they have any chance to beat Alabama? No, of course not. But they were 1 game away from the national championship. So, I mean, whereas Boise State and SMUs of the world, they're going to get drummed in the first round. It's more difficult for a team like that to make a run today than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I need to see it. I want to see the competition. I mean, hey, my man Kalen DeBoer up there, I don't see any. He was basically he played the politics with his answer right at the beginning. It's not my decision. It's the athletic director's decision. That's above me. And then he said, I don't have anything against playing a 9th game, playing another game. And so you look at the Alabama schedule going out the next 10 years.
This is with an 8-game schedule. Look at the schedule this year. That's an 8-game schedule. And granted, the Florida State and Wisconsin. They should have been more difficult games when they were scheduled, but 2 years from now you play Ohio State. Why do you put yourself in that position?
Because I'm right here. Again, come and get me. Kill me now.
I am excited for the game. I'm excited for the Texas-Ohio State game week 1.
Yes.
But as things have evolved and gotten to the point we're at, which I just don't see why there's incentive right now for teams to keep playing these kind of games. Wow. I hope it changes.
Got to raise the bar of competition. Got to raise the bar across the board.
You and I have been in agreement on the cupcake game thing for a while. I don't think it does anything for Alabama to play Western Kentucky or Utah State or
Eastern Illinois coming to town this year.
The annual pre-Iron Bowl extravaganza. Get excited for Jimmy Garoppolo's alma mater. But all that being said, I just
can we change the red shirt rule to allow those games not to count against the red shirt, and you make them play underclassmen? Only freshmen, sophomores can play in those games.
I would like that, and I'm for having a game like that as the spring game. I mean, from Mobile, I didn't travel up to A-Day this year when I found out it was going to be a practice because I knew, and it turned out I was right. It turned out I was right. Once they said it's going to be a practice, we can talk for hours and hours about the consequences of the changes in college football. For as much as people want to talk about NIL and the portal, I think conference realignment and playoff expansion have been, and it all goes hand in hand, but I think it's been far more damaging than anything else.
Can we go back to 2003 where all the conferences were regional, the Big East was strong, you still had, West Virginia in the Big East. It was all better in those days.
That's kind of.
Were you even alive?
I was born in 2000. But as for the regular season, we took the best part of college football of every season, every game of the regular season having mass consequence, and take the Alabama-Georgia game from last year, for example. Granted, it was still an awesome game, still loved watching it, the crowd was electric, but at the same time, you kind of know, oh wow, we just blew this 28-0 lead. this can end our season, but that's not the case anymore. I mean, granted, the season ended for different reasons that maybe we didn't see coming in Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, but that Georgia even the Vanderbilt game, that should have been it. That should have been the end of the season. Again, they didn't take advantage of the opportunity and lost that game to Oklahoma, but it does make me sad what the regular season has become, and I hope to see more meaningful football at some point.
Well, it's going to just keep going that way when we expand to 16 and 24 and 32 and 64 and 100.
I know. I'm a former expansionist myself, and I've seen the light as I've seen it in practice. That listen, I'm also a realist. They're not going back. It is what it is. But it's not. I'm not a huge fan of the way things have gone.
All right, so let's talk about Alabama a little bit more as we're here on Wednesday at SEC Media Day. It is the Joe Gaither Show. We're hanging out with Michael Brauner, WNSP 105.5. What time does your show start? 4:30 in the morning? 3 in the morning?
6 a.m. Central Time, which has been 7 a.m. Eastern Time this week, which has been nice, I guess. It also gets dark at 9 o'clock at night, so I like Eastern Time, but only in doses. I don't like, the All-Star game started at 8:40 last night.
Theo and I were asleep before it was even over.
I watched 3 innings before I went.
We woke up to, there was a swing off?
Yeah.
Oh, how did that work?
Also something I just found out about this morning, so yeah.
All right, so Alabama's here. Caden Proctor's here. Everybody's talking about this Alabama offensive line. And so my question to you is offensive line centric. We've done this for the last how many years? 3 years, 4 years. Alabama's going to have the best offensive line. Alabama's going to have the best offensive line. They're so dominant. Look at these first-round picks. And the last 3 years, for sure, it hasn't been that. I mean, obviously some of that's on the quarterback holding the ball too long. But even last year, the offensive line wasn't dominant in the run game, and that's really what Alabama fans want to see. You can deal with little pass pro issues as long as you're mauling people off the ball. You got Caden Proctor, you got Jaden Roberts, you got Parker Brailsford. So 3 guys I think people are confident in. But the left guard position is still a big question mark. Caden Proctor didn't give me any real insight. He named about 4 names when he was talking about left guard. And then we all love Will Conformity, Mr. Taco Casa, but it's a question mark at right tackle. What's it going to be with this offensive line this year?
It is a really good point you bring up about the fact that, wow, how many years in a row have we said how awesome this offensive line is? Couldn't run the ball last year. Could not run the ball last year. Again, Milroe.
Not in critical downs, period.
Running the ball with running back, because Milroe was so athletic and so good that he's able to kind of force his way into there being a running game. Even if the offensive line is Swiss cheese. But yeah, I mean, 2 years ago we talk about in Saban's last year. I mean, Caden Proctor's talked about it pretty openly today how much he struggled in that first year. I mean, the guy, he was a turnstile for the first half of that freshman season, and he got it together, and credit to him for how much he improved. Granted, the bar based on the start of the season was pretty low, but he'd be the first one to tell you how much he struggled. Now Caden Proctor going into his junior year, obviously he should be one of the better left tackles in the country. And yeah, Wilkin Formby, he certainly struggled when he got into games last year too. And so again, it starts with the running, everything on offense, and being able for let's assume it's Ty Simpson. I think it's a little bit more of a story coming out of today. I'm sure we'll get to the quarterback thing. We all think it's going to be Ty Simpson.
No quarterback discussion here. It's pointless.
Well, we're in agreement it's going to be Ty Simpson. Even Caden Proctor said when he was asked, well, it's a 3-person quarterback race, which, he was coached to say. We think it's Ty Simpson, but regardless of who it is, you need to be able to run the ball with running backs.
Yes.
Because you don't have Jalen Milroe back there doing it. And, the interior is great between Roberts and Brailsford. We'll see what happens to left guard. I don't know. I'm hesitant to say how great this offensive line is going to be after the last couple of years. I do think another year of continuity in the offense, and Ty Simpson probably the best guy in terms of he's been there and he can command these guys, and they're going to want to play for him. If they can't run the ball, the offense, it doesn't matter how good the defense is. It doesn't even matter how good Ty Simpson in the receiver room is.
I mean, Ty gets swarmed.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Ty, Q, and Russell Austin, they'll get swarmed. If you can't run the football, we're going to load the box, and we're going to come after your quarterback and make you get the ball out fast. And that's just going to be a huge problem. So will Ryan Grubb be the reason that everything starts to click.
As for why they couldn't run the ball last year, I really don't have a great answer for you.
Toughness. No pad level.
It's not an issue. We know it's not an issue of talent. And so we'll see what happens. I know they lost. I can't even remember what his name was. The offensive line coach who had also went to the Seahawks with Grubb.
Not just Kapilovic, because that's who you had. Kyle Flood.
Yes.
No, Kyle Flood's the offensive coordinator at Texas.
I can't remember. He was from Washington and left with Grubb. Huff.
Scott Huff, right?
Yes. Anyway, now he's got that figured out. I don't know if that played a factor or really, you need a smarter football mind than me to explain why they couldn't run the ball last year, but they damn well better be able to do it this year. And I think it's going to be better. I think another year for everyone is going to be better. There's a lot of continuity coming back on the line. I think it's going to be better, but whether or not they can run the ball with running backs more effectively than they did last year, I think determines the ceiling of the team.
You see how Pop came on the board with my question today?
I didn't. So he was on at 9 a.m. So I was on until 10 because of the Eastern Time Central Time difference, and so I didn't see him on the big podium. You get a special teams question in.
Well, I asked him a special teams question right here.
Yeah.
Right. Before he went downstairs.
Yeah.
And then he goes downstairs and Viv's the hall. Oh, here's the team. Here's the team. Here's the team. Oh, and someone brought up special teams today, and I haven't been asked that for I don't know how long.
It must have been you.
I'm highly concerned about Alabama's special teams unit. You're the snapper, you'll get that figured out. But who the heck is punting? James Bennett from down under was fairly really good last year.
Or called him the best punter he's ever had. The guy's been a football coach for 40 years.
What a development from his freshman year where it really wasn't that good to his senior year. Well, now he's gone. And Graham Nicholson, the most expensive extra point artist in college football last year, is gone as well. That's my biggest, defense, it looks like it's a 10. Offense looks like it's about a 7, 8, 6
with a ceiling 7, of a 9 and a floor of a 5.
Special teams
7.
Could be a 0.
Yeah.
It could be a 10, but it also could be a 0.
So Nichols, it shows you how spoiled we were with Will Riker. And maybe, from my perspective, how much I didn't appreciate Will Riker. Will Riker, man, did he miss some longer kicks? Yeah, he did. I mean, the one that comes to mind specifically is 21 at Tennessee in the thriller.
Sure.
And granted, it was a 58-yard field goal, but I was sitting there there's no way it's going in. It wasn't close. Tennessee takes over, and what happens there? What happens there? That in terms of painful Alabama losses, that's at the top of the list. But no, I didn't appreciate him enough when he was here because I forgot how much it felt to not trust a kicker until Graham Nicholson was stepping up from anything more than 30 yards. And, I appreciate Graham Nicholson. I don't think he missed an extra point on the entire season. So
8 of 10 field goals. So you didn't kick it. You didn't even use it that much.
They kind of just stopped. If it's 45 or more yards, we're going to go for it. And which we saw with the offense last year was not a great thing, especially when you get behind the sticks so often on first and second down. But I don't even know who we're looking at from the kicker position. Connor Talty, that's what I figured.
I got one more note, so I wrote them down.
It was supposed to be Talty going into the season. And
Reed Schuback as a punter as well. Blake Dowd. So there's several names.
Connor Talty. Oof. It doesn't inspire confidence that they had to bring in a transfer kicker because of Connor Talty. My thing is, I just don't know how much better does a kicker really get from year to year. And what the special teams development program, I'm sure it's great at every SEC school, but at a certain point, kicker's got to just make kicks. If he wasn't ready last year, what makes him ready this year? I mean, you saw it at Auburn last year. They, Alex McPherson is dealing with a stomach thing all year. They had this kid, Towns McHugh, the freshman. So I saw Towns calling high school games when he was at Auburn High School. He's making 58-yarders, just nailing them.
You either got it or you got it.
It was unbelievable. And then he comes to Auburn. I guess it's a mental that he can't make a field goal when he's called in to make a field goal. So I don't know. Kickers are fickle, man. It's hard to figure out, why they aren't making kicks. I just have a hard time believing that there's going to be such a major leap from year 1 to year 2 or year 2 to 3 in Talty's case. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. That is probably the scariest thing. We're back to the old days of pre-Will Riker, the dark days.
I think that's the story that no one's talking about this whole offseason. We're hanging out with Michael Brauner, WNSP 105.5. You hear him from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. right there in Mobile. We just got a few more questions for you. I've been asking
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. for clarity's purpose. For clarity purposes.
We don't want clarity. We want fun.
Yeah. Clearly.
I've been asking the defenders, who's going to be the unsung hero of the defense? Last year, clearly, Bray Hubbard steps in. Oh gosh, Keon Sabb, broken foot. Bray Hubbard comes in and that lays the wood to everyone. And so I think that he probably is the answer from last year, the unsung hero. Micah Brauner, you look at it, who's going to be the unsung hero of this year's Alabama defense?
It's a really good question. I mean, Bray Hubbard is the obvious answer, but you can't say he's unsung
right, not
anymore.
This year.
Yeah. So, I mean, and he's going into maybe will be one of the best safeties in college football. I don't know. This is a 3-star kid from Mississippi who played 15 different
Ocean
positions.
Springs?
Played 25 different positions. I am in love with Bray Hubbard.
Bray Hubbard won me my first college football 26 game online. I was playing against Ohio State, losing by 2 scores. Bray Hubbard, a couple of interceptions later, we win by 1. Thank you, sir.
Now he's rated like a 92.
Make that man a 97.
You think about the linebacking room, and it's a little bit of a question beyond, especially if Deontay is not ready to go. Who steps up in that linebacker room? It's Justin Jefferson. I think there's a couple of guys you could see as a factor there, but in terms of an unsung hero, I mean, I think the secondary is going to be one of the best in the country, and I think Dijon Lee is going to be too good to keep off the field. And you got a 6'6", it feels like
6'12".
Yeah, 6'12", and so I think he's going to be very difficult to keep off the field. Maybe a lot of people outside of Tuscaloosa aren't talking about him right now, but I think he's going to be looked at as a guy who headed into his sophomore year, a year down the line. Maybe he's here with Ryan Williams next year in SEC Media Days because he's going to be one of the best cornerbacks in the country.
Well, we're not bringing Ryan Williams next year. He talks too much. These three guys that they brought were some of the great guys, great kids, honestly. Some of the top. Yeah. But I didn't get a whole lot of juice out of them.
Yeah.
I got some juice out of Caden Proctor. He talked about how much he and Wilkin Formby could eat at Taco Casa.
We talked to Deontay earlier, and so, we're a Mobile station, and he's from Mobile Christian. So obviously, asking him what's the first place he's going to eat when he gets back and all that. But you're right. They are that's probably why they're here. They're as well trained as anyone else. I think there's going to be a mass uprising if you don't bring Ryan Williams. Assuming he has the kind of season next year we think he's going to have, and I don't think there's going to be a post-junior year into senior year because I think he'll be there. He'll be in Tuscaloosa for 3 years. You're going to have to bring him next year. You're going to have to maybe do some coaching of him, tell him not to say too much, but I would be shocked if Ryan Williams is not here next year.
All right, with Michael Brauner, let's wrap it up right here. We've almost gone an hour. What is your prediction for Alabama football this year? How you feeling? Playoff team, 12-0. You're looking at 9-3. The road schedule is bleeping brutal. The road schedule is so nasty. I think people are underestimating the Florida State game. They're probably feeling really excited after Deontay Lawson's comments. All disrespect will be addressed today. That was pretty much the only spicy comment. You go to Florida State.
Said it too. I think they came up with that beforehand.
You go to Florida State, you go to Georgia, you go to South Carolina, Missouri, and Auburn. I think 5 dangerous places to go on the road. Alabama didn't play well on the road at all. Are you looking at 7-5? What are you thinking for Alabama football this year?
Yeah, the road schedule is hard. And guess what? The home schedule is hard too with LSU and Tennessee on the docket. But that Georgia game and that South Carolina game are obviously the ones looming largest on the road schedule. I think they are limited in terms of ceiling because of the schedule, but ceiling meaning, I don't think they can do better than 10-2, which does get you into the playoff and probably into the SEC championship. Whether you want to be in the SEC championship is another question.
Of course you want to be there.
Well, yeah, it's the old conversation about meaningful, what we've done to the sport of college
football. If there's
football
a championship on the line, we want to win it.
Anyway, I'm thinking 10-2. It comes down to what Ty Simpson is, in my opinion.
Well, what is he?
I don't know. No one knows.
Okay, all right, perfect place to land this because me and Mason are on opposite ends. Mason thinks that he's going to be, game manager, fuddy-duddy, Greg McElroy type. And I think that he could be a lot closer to a playmaker. And he was a 5-star in high school. The man was a 5-star in high school.
He's got
been
more
sitting,
playmaking
baking,
ability than-
and his wide receivers are just otherworldly. What will Ty Simpson be?
I lean more towards you on that side of the coin because I think he doesn't get nearly enough credit for how well he can move. If he can get rid of the ball and distribute it and get it to his player, that's all he needs to do. And DeVore said it all week. We don't need him to do too much. If he tries not to do too much and he does what he has, the physical God-given ability to do, yeah, I think he can. I don't know if I'd say he's going to be a Heisman contender, but I think he can certainly lead this team to 10-2, 11-1 playoff. Listen, as far as what Alabama is, there aren't 4 teams I would take as more likely to win a national championship this year. I think they're going to be right in that conversation again. I think they're going to be better than last year. You need to avoid the slip-up because the schedule is too hard. You had 2 of them last year. The schedule is too hard to have a loss like that. You just can't have it. But other than that, I feel really good about what this team can be, and I think they can compete for a national championship at least.
You know how brokenhearted I'm going to be if I lost to Missouri?
Yeah.
Keeps Alabama.
Can't happen. Cannot happen.
Because that's the mirror image of the Vanderbilt loss. That's the mirror image of the Oklahoma loss. You can go to Georgia and lose, and okay, whatever. Georgia's a great team. You can, go to South Carolina. They might be a great team. Wow. You
They're
go
going to Missouri. They're not going to.
11 a.m. Sleepy Missouri in between a Vanderbilt home game and a Tennessee home game. Two revenge games back to back.
I was concerned last year about the Missouri game, but that's just how Alabama was playing at the time, and we saw how it went. It was probably their best performance of the season, top to bottom. So no, I don't think it'll be Missouri. I don't think it'll be Eastern Illinois. But like I said, you can't have. If you avoid that loss, I think you can win a national championship this season.
He's Michael Brauner, WNSP. I was trying to say both the call sign and the number at the same time. WNSP 105.5 from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can download the Sound of Mobile app to hear him. Who are your partners? Tweedledee, Tweedledum?
Yes, Mark Cobb and Lee Shervanian. We do the opening kickoff. We put on a great product, so check us out. Sound of Mobile app if you're not in the 251.
And you're right as well. Tell them where you're writing.
Oh, yeah. Yellowhammer News. You can find all my Alabama and Auburn coverage on there. Also on the WNSP website as well. It's about to be the best season of the year, so there's going to be plenty to talk about and plenty to write about.
Absolutely. He's Michael Brauner, and we're live at SEC Media Days.
Sweet.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.